He's back! Lorenzo Di Bonaventura is at it again. He's talking, and this time he talked to China.org. I picked up this detail from TFW 2005. I will link it in the description box below. But this is what Lorenzo had to say. And now he's talking about Beast Wars. We will probably make a Bumblebee movie sequel, and we want to make an even bigger Transformers movie in the future, Lorenzo Di Bonaventura said. After being the producer for every Transformers movie in the past decade. We have an animated movie in writing stage right now. We are trying to figure out an Optimus Prime movie. Figure it out? Really? Still doing that? Still banging that drum? While the Beast Wars franchise has the chance too. However, the producer stressed this could only happen under one condition. Guess what it is? Yes, that's right. Bumblebee must be a success, a financial success. Well, at least he said it, because he had 2 interviews with the Metro and didn't say this once, but at least he said it now to china.org.cn. So yes, the obvious. As long as Bumblebee succeeds at the box office, then Lorenzo's going to be looking to deliver more Transformers in the future. That would seem common sense to most. But, you know, the fact that this movie has done so well with the fans and the critics, albeit that it hasn't smashed the box office, surely tells you you're onto something. So the trouble is, we don't know what the magic number is at the box office for Paramount and Hasbro. And without knowing that magic number, we just have to wait and see, because it really depends what they're looking at. Are they measuring this off the budget that the movie was given and how much profit it makes? Are they comparing it to the Bayverse? If they are, we could be in trouble, because although the Bayverse didn't go down as well with the fans or the critics, it did much better at the box office. And this, you know, is the complete opposite. And I think, you know, as I've said before in many other videos, Bumblebee the movie had to do a lot of course correction for the franchise. It had to bring a lot of fans back to the franchise after the damage that was done by Transformers The Last Knight. We also should take into account why the Bay movies performed so well. And that was because the marketing was heavily focused on the Chinese market. And that was something that Bay was very smart with. Albeit that his movies might not have told the best story, the marketing and the fact that they filmed in certain countries to make sure that they would go and see the movie, that was his plan all along. So he would pull the numbers in even if the movie was weak. Whereas Travis Knight, his focus was to tell a solid Transformers story. And because he didn't focus on appeasing any type of market, that may come back to haunt him. But I'm not saying that was the wrong move. In fact, I think Travis Knight's vision was right, and Bay's was the opt-out one, the one that really, you know, didn't really care for the universe as long as it brought in the money. And it served Bay rather well. With that all in mind, we will have to wait and see what the magic number is at the box office for Paramount and Hasbro. And I'm interested to see whether or not they do compare it to the Bayverse or whether they're looking at it on its own. I hope they're looking at it as a standalone movie on its performance and taking into consideration all the course correction and all the damage that was done in the past. So, we've now got that out the bag. He's finally decided to admit it's all based on money. Great. But let's look at his vision, what he sees for the future if Bumblebee is a financial success. So he talks about a Bumblebee 2, he talks about an Optimus Prime movie if they can figure it out. He also talks about the fact that we have an animated movie at writing stage, and also he then divulges that they are looking at the Beast Wars franchise. Right. So, let's talk about his vision. A Bumblebee 2. Well, it makes perfect sense to follow up Bumblebee because it was a great film. Travis Knight did a fantastic job, and I'd love to see him have another crack at the Transformers live action universe. But I will drop a spoiler in here. I was disappointed with the way Bumblebee ended if they want to do a sequel to it. The trouble is, again, it comes back to the vision. It appears there was no vision for a Bumblebee 2, and that again falls upon Paramount and Hasbro not making it clear to director Travis Knight because again they're waiting on the money. So if they had made it clear, maybe we wouldn't have got the ending which we had. Again, spoiler alert, because Hailee Steinfeld's character Charlie moved away from Bumblebee and obviously Bee's gone off with Optimus Prime. And I would like to see Hailee Steinfeld feature in a Bumblebee 2. I think her portrayal of Charlie was why the movie was such a success. I think she also brought in her very own fan base to watch this movie, which has helped the movie. So to see her not come back to the franchise, I think would be missing a trick. But I could easily bring her back to the franchise with a vision that I have, but we'll talk about this in another video. My vision for Bumblebee 2, an Optimus Prime movie. Now Lorenzo has said that this would be difficult to make because Optimus is an Autobot of very few words. Bumblebee didn't speak for almost 5 films, yet Optimus has a problem with talking. Go figure. But again, I would think this would be a popular choice. And although they are saying, you know, this would be difficult, I think it ties back into waiting to see the performance of Bumblebee. But I would question that thought process when it comes to Optimus Prime, because he is the most well-known Autobot, he is the most well-known Transformer. So if anybody was going to pull the fandom to the cinema, it would be Optimus Prime. So to say that because Bumblebee didn't perform, it doesn't mean that with a good director behind it, an Optimus Prime solo film wouldn't do the numbers. Now he goes on to mention a Cybertron animated movie, and we thought this was canned after Paramount and Hasbro released their movie slate, but it seems to be back, and although I'm intrigued to see how that will come out, I'd much rather see a G1 live action version on Cybertron. So what I'd like to see is the visuals that we saw in Travis Knight's Bumblebee movie taken for a full hour-and-a-half or 2-hour film, and I think that's what many others would like to see. But Lorenzo doesn't want to deliver on that, and he wants to look at something like this, an animated movie, and maybe trying to capitalize off the back of Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse and how well that was received and go down that route. That's fine. But do you not get the feeling that this whole Transformers vision for the future is all just a bit disjointed at the moment? No clear vision, just movies. And that brings me nicely onto the final bit of detail which Lorenzo confirmed. They're looking at Beast Wars. Oh my days, you haven't nailed the G1 universe yet in live action form, so what makes you think it's a right move to tackle Beast Wars? Now, it's very exciting to hear the name drop of Beast Wars, but doing it properly is what people will want to see. It's what the fandom would want to see. Fans of Beast Wars don't want to see that movie if you don't deliver it properly. And that's what I'm worried about, again, from Lorenzo Di Bonaventura talking about this franchise. No vision, no real long-term aspirations for Transformers, just movie after movie, no connection, no real, path to something more. And I compare it to Marvel's universe and how well they've done and connected their universe. That should be the template. That should be the vision. We have enough great Autobots and Decepticons to deliver on that, and albeit some of those films might not hit the box office numbers that are expected from Paramount and Hasbro initially, if they can make it seem that they are willing to invest in this franchise and put together credible films for each character, then the fandom will return more and more, and we will get a Transformers live action universe that we want. And then you can start looking at a Beast Wars. You could even develop from your G1 movie franchise into Beast Wars on the big screen. But that is a long way away. So to mention Beast Wars at this stage, yes, it sounds exciting, but it's wrong. No, not yet. Because we all know what happens when you jump into things in live action. You get a Justice League. That's what happens, a mess. And the DCEU is a prime example of trying to do things too fast and to do things without a true vision. Or if someone has a vision, too many people getting involved to ruin that vision. Don't let it happen to Transformers. We have a shot at this to get it right, and I already feel that it's not in good hands. And if you think about it, this vision that Lorenzo Di Bonaventura has laid out, it's not really much of a vision, but it's a lot like what we've got with the DCEU of now. Just making movies and hoping that they stick, because DC are looking at a Joker movie, which won't tie into their DCEU. They're looking at a Batman movie without Ben Affleck. They want a Man of Steel, but they're not sure if they want Henry Cavill. And they're just trying to make movies and see what happens. Not sure if that's a vision. And we've got that same sort of, idea with Lorenzo Di Bonaventura, who just says movies with no real tie. And I just want an MCU, like Marvel have done. I'll call it the TCU, the Transformers Cinematic Universe. We have the characters, we have the Autobots, we have the Decepticons. It just needs to happen. Don't just pluck movies out of thin air. Have a direction, have a course, and deliver. Some movies will perform, some won't. But looking at this, what we've got now, a Bumblebee 2, an Optimus Prime, an animated movie, where does that fit in with this? Then Beast Wars, I don't see a direction. So yes, it's exciting to throw names out there, but is it really for the good of Transformers? I'm sure that Hasbro must have a direction that they want, but I don't know if it's this. So I want to get your views in the comment section below. What do you think? Lorenzo's at it again. He's talking it up, but only if Bumblebee is a financial success. We'll see. All that's left to be said is I want you to get involved in the comment section below, and don't forget to please rate, comment and subscribe to the channel with the notification bell turned on so you stay up to date with all my Transformers content. And this is Delzinski signing out.